Ultra-processed foods have become one of the most influential and dangerous drivers of the adult obesity epidemic. Their spread into every corner of modern life means that most adults are exposed to them daily, often without realizing how profoundly they interfere with appetite regulation, metabolism, and long-term health. Unlike whole foods, which come with natural limits on how much we tend to eat, ultra-processed foods are engineered for effortless overconsumption. Their high energy density, oversized portions, and addictive sensory profiles create a perfect storm that gradually undermines the body's ability to maintain a healthy weight. Adult obesity is not simply the result of personal choices. It is the predictable outcome of a food environment designed to override biological safeguards. Energy density plays a central role in the problem. Ultra-processed foods pack a large number of calories into very small volumes. Chips, pastries, fried items, sugary beverages, and packaged snacks offer intense bursts of calories without the fiber, protein, or water content that trigger natural satiety signals. Because these foods digest quickly and require minimal chewing, they bypass the body's built-in mechanisms that slow down eating and help regulate fullness. Adults who consume them frequently may experience a subtle but chronic mismatch between calorie intake and appetite cues. Over time, portions that once felt excessive begin to feel normal, and the brain recalibrates to expect more. This silent shift contributes to steady weight gain that may not be noticeable until it becomes difficult to reverse. Portion sizes in the ultra-processed food industry further intensify the danger. Many adults are exposed to oversized servings from restaurants, convenience stores, and packaged foods that normalize overconsumption. A single serving of chips or a ready-to-eat meal may contain 2 or 3 times the calories of a balanced plate of whole foods, yet the brain perceives it as standard. Worryingly, research shows that once people become accustomed to larger portions, the ability to self-regulate declines sharply. Adults often underestimate the caloric load of ultra-processed meals by hundreds of calories, leading to daily surpluses that accumulate rapidly over months and years. Even those who assume they maintain moderate eating habits may unknowingly consume more than their bodies can handle simply because portion distortion has become part of modern food culture. Habitual overeating is where the long-term damage becomes deeply entrenched. Ultra-processed foods create a cycle that is difficult to escape. They are hyperpalatable, easy to eat quickly, and provide a rapid dopamine hit that encourages repeated consumption. Adults under stress, fatigue, or emotional strain often turn to these foods for comfort or convenience, reinforcing neural pathways that tie eating to relief rather than genuine hunger. Over time, the brain becomes increasingly responsive to food cues, advertisements, packaging, smells, while becoming less responsive to internal signals of fullness. This creates a situation where adults may feel compelled to eat even when they are not hungry, or continue eating long after satiety should have been reached. Such patterns contribute directly to the progression of obesity, as daily caloric excess becomes normalized and difficult to identify without conscious intervention. The metabolic consequences of relying on ultra-processed foods are severe and multilayered. Chronic exposure to high levels of sugar and refined carbohydrates disrupts insulin sensitivity, promotes fat storage, and increases appetite through hormonal imbalance. Excessive intake of unhealthy fats and salt drives inflammation and water retention, complicating weight management. Because these foods lack meaningful nutrients, adults often experience micronutrient deficiencies that further exacerbate cravings, particularly for sugary, fatty, and salty options. This creates a vicious loop. Nutrient-poor diets intensify hunger, hunger leads to more ultra-processed consumption, and the cycle accelerates weight gain. What makes the obesity epidemic especially alarming is how insidiously these foods alter the adult body over time. Weight gain may begin as a slow drift, just a few extra pounds each year, but once enough fat accumulates, the metabolic system becomes increasingly resistant to change. Resting metabolic rate decreases, Inflammation rises, and appetite hormones spiral out of balance, making it far harder to lose weight than to gain it. Adults who rely heavily on ultra-processed foods may find themselves gaining weight even when they attempt to cut back portions because their bodies have adapted to years of high-calorie, low-satiety eating. Ultra-processed foods are not just a dietary inconvenience, they are a structural threat to long-term health. Their energy density, oversized portions, and ability to encourage habitual overeating have created a global environment where obesity is almost inevitable unless individuals deliberately resist the default food landscape. The danger is not merely weight gain, it is the cascade of chronic diseases that follow: type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, fatty liver, joint deterioration, and reduced cognitive resilience. The adult obesity epidemic is a direct reflection of an environment dominated by foods designed to hijack biology, distort hunger, and nudge people into patterns of eating that harm them more each year.